Man, see, Scott, welcome back to this week's Coffee Grind. Now, this week, I gotta let you know ahead of time, just right now, it is gonna be a two-parter, because once things started flowing, we just really got into it. So, this week is gonna be with Octavius, the $1 Million Voice Davis. You've probably seen him on commercials for McGowan Medical Center. Now, he's done other stuff with the likes of ESPN, Bacardi, and a slew of others, Jacksonville University, Edward Warthers College. He's done a lot of stuff here. So this week, man, we just hit the record on the cameras, let everything flow. This man is a motivational speaker. He's been in radio. He does voiceovers. I mean, you name it, he does it. But the main thing that he's focusing in on right now is voiceover acting and motivational speaking, which, that's right in my league. So what we did was we just hit record, let everything flow. This week, though, you're gonna hear about the pursuit of passion. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that's next week. Anyways, this week, what we're gonna talk about is growth through the decades. Each decade of your life, you have a different type of growth, but sometimes you just go through it. But he's saying that you should grow through it. I took me some notes while I was watching this video. So making sure that you grow through it and actually turning your insecurities into some of your biggest wins and turning those into actionable steps. So anyways, we got a couple of different things that we're talking about. So those are just a few of the key things I wanted you to listen out for. But this week's Coffee Grind is coming at you right now. Anyway, man, I appreciate you doing this again.
Oh, man, no problem. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man. So what else is going on with you, man?
Well, man, like I mentioned when we were speaking before, and I was actually counting in my head, I said that this is probably my third incarnation. It's probably more like 5 or 6.
Right.
But the stage that I'm at right now, man, I just turned 40 last week.
Okay, yep. Happy birthday again.
Thank you, appreciate that. And I think more than ever, I'm actually feeling the pressure of becoming whatever it is that I'm on my way to becoming. Right.
Right.
Funny thing, the morning of my 40th, I had this dream. It was me. You ever seen the movie Straight Outta Compton?
No, I haven't yet.
What about this show that comes on Showtime called The Chi?
Probably haven't seen that either.
Chauncey, I need you to buy a TV, okay?
I
Get a sling,
right.
But in any case, there's this actor, I can't think of his name, but in the movie Straight Outta Compton, he plays the role of Eazy-E.
Okay.
So in my dream, it's him.
Yep.
And I'm not going to ask if you've seen this other movie because I'm convinced you don't watch TV. Yeah,
no.
You haven't. But there's this other actor. And so the three of us are there. And in my dream, it's my birthday.
Okay.
And so like, man, how old are you? I'm like, man, I turned 50 years old. And Chauncey, I kid you not, I shot up out of my sleep and said, 50? What happened to 40?
What did it 10 years
I thought I leaped over an entire decade and was turning 50 that morning. But I really think that was just my subconscious mind displaying that pressure.
Right.
That I'm feeling internally on the inside, because I began that morning when I finally composed myself and realized it was all a dream.
Right.
I used to read Word Up magazine. I realized that, okay, I'm 40. Right. It was about 4:30 that morning.
Yeah.
Went downstairs and I began meditating.
Okay.
And what I began doing while meditating was taking a observational view of my teenage years.
Okay. Gotcha.
That time period from 10 to 20, that time period of 20 to 30, and then that time period of 30 to 40.
Right.
And there are 3 very distinct and different versions of myself in each of those decades.
Yeah.
That first decade, it was a lot of, well, who am I, supposed to be?
Right. Okay.
But then there was a lot of naivete.
Yep.
In that as well.
Yep.
I remember my senior year of high school, Doc, I took no SATs. I took no ACTs. I grew up in a home where the importance of education wasn't necessarily stressed.
Gotcha.
Go to school.
Gotcha.
You understand?
And
Get your
that's about it.
education.
Yeah.
But for me, I interpreted that as, okay, but when I get this high school diploma, I'm good.
You're done. Yeah.
You know, that's the mountaintop.
Right.
And so I had this image in my mind vividly during my senior year of high school that I was going to be on the Jay Leno Show and seeing my name in lights.
Gotcha.
And all these different celebratory type of things.
Right. Right.
But I can't tell you for what. It's like in that mental daydream that I would have about being on the Jay Leno Show and sitting on his couch and he and I talking, I can't tell you what the dialogue was about or the topic of discussion. I could only see it.
Right.
And so I've always had a desire to want to be, I shudder to use the word famous.
I get it.
You know, but known.
Right.
You know, to have an impact and for other people to know who I am and be recognized. Well, I remember a few months after graduation, I had turned 19 by this point, and I was riding around the city with 2 high school friends of mine. And I remember sitting in the back seat. I said, man, I just feel like I'm supposed to be saying something. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't yet know what the message is, but I find it difficult to believe that I've been blessed with this type of voice, this type of diction and communicative ability and not say anything, you know. So, of course, you know, slingshotting into my 20s, I was in radio, you know, director of programming. Went to college, EWC for communications, got my communications degree, loved it.
Yeah.
But through my 20s, I lived a very conflicted life because during that time I was heavily involved in church.
Okay.
And was on the path to becoming a minister.
Okay.
While also running this radio station.
Right.
My heart was with radio.
Right.
But I was thinking, okay, well, maybe this ministerial path is where I'm supposed to go as well, because for me during that phase of my life, the preacher in the pulpit was my mentor, my idol. Yeah. If I, you know, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And so while I'm living this conflicted internal life, I found myself once graduating college, going to Bible school, graduated Bible school, became an ordained minister, and was given the assignment to help start a church. Right. Well, that required me to step away from what I loved, what I was passionate about. Right. But I thought that's what the call was all about. You know, forsake all and follow Christ, you know. So I resigned, man, relocated to Tallahassee, and I was there for maybe 2 weeks. And I was like, oh no,
this ain't it.
I done messed up, you know. But the type of person that I am, when I make a commitment, I do my absolute best to follow through on that commitment. Man, I almost committed suicide.
Oh no.
Yeah, because for me, this place that I've now matured in, I have very different concepts about heaven and hell and what those things are and what they look like. Okay. I was in hell. Yeah. Because it's one thing to live this life. We'll say this a different way. It's one form of hell to live this life, not knowing what it is that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But it's a completely different form of hell to live this life, knowing what it is you're supposed to do and not doing it.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, you
know
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You didn't hit
and from a perspective standpoint, you can't. I've lived both, but from a perspective standpoint, I can't necessarily say that one is worse than the other, because they're both horrible. It just all depends on how you're navigating through that time period of your life. Right. And for me, to know what it was I was passionate about and what I believed I was supposed to be doing, and not only not doing it, but being told the devil was trying to entice me to pursue it, you know, I was like, oh no. You know, I was like, check this out, Big G.
Right.
You know, straight up, these are some words that I literally said while praying. If living this life for you means doing what other people say I should be doing for you. Right. And not what's on the inside of my heart and what I believe I should be doing for you. Right. if that's what this is about, I don't want you.
Right.
I don't want you. I don't want this life.
Right.
F-bomb. F all of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the place that I had come to.
Right.
And so, you know, I submitted my resignation letter, resigned ministry, came back to Jacksonville a few months before my 30th birthday.
Okay.
So now this is a whole nother decade now that we're going into. So my 30s was a time period of trying to make sense of my 20s. Yep. You know?
Yep.
And so now I'm going into my 30s. I know what it is that I'm passionate about, but now I have so much more stuff to unpack.
Right.
There's so much more baggage that I took into my 30s that I brought with me from my 20s because I didn't deal with it in my teens.
Right.
And I'm talking about father issues, emotional issues, emotional trauma.
Right.
You know, I have been told that I have PTSD because of a lot of the trauma I experienced as a child from child abuse from a stepfather that used to beat me up, sexual molestation that happened when I was in kindergarten or first grade from a female babysitter.
Oh man.
You know, just trauma that was never dealt with.
Yeah.
So now I'm going into my 30s, you know, and I got a bit of a chip on my shoulder. You know, I'm mad at the pastor, I'm mad at God, I'm mad at this person.
Mad at the world.
I'm mad at the world.
Tupac, mad at the world.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got thug life, you know. I ain't got a six pack, but got thug life across the cake.
Right.
You know, I know you're in the fitness, Chauncey, but it ain't no six pack, okay? But this is the story. This is the real. You know, and so, you know, through my 30s, man, coming back and met my wife and bringing that baggage into the marriage. And for me, the emotional baggage, you know, and even now I'm learning the ramifications of that emotional baggage, you know.
And not dealing with it.
You know, being dissatisfied with my career. You know, I was working at Convergys.
Okay.
You know, at that daggone call center, man, and
man, I gotta tell you, I am glad I never got into that life.
The call center life?
Right.
Man, look.
Because, man, in college, everybody's like, oh, yeah, they're paying, what was it, like $8 an hour?
Yeah.
But that was huge back then. What, minimum wage was like $5.75. So we were like, yeah, you know, and everybody had new cars every semester or whatever. So, thank God.
Man, look.
I didn't get that.
I remember there were a couple of times sitting on that phone in front of that computer with some customer on the phone blasting me out about something.
Right.
And I remember one day looking at the rep next to me, I said, you know, these people are so stupid because they talking all of this junk, but I got all the information right here in front of me. If I was a person that was a picnic short of a few sandwiches.
Destroy their life.
Yeah.
In one foul swoop.
One swoop, just mess it all up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, you know, so I went through that, man. Got back into radio for a while, loved it, you know. Then I got fired from radio. You know, and not necessarily, I say fired, but they sold the station. So basically I was fired because I didn't have a job after they sold the station. And then, you know, I go into the educational sector and, you know, I kind of went from job to job to job.
Right.
The different thing now in my 30s, now I have a wife and 4 girls from my wife's first marriage and an infant son.
Yeah.
So now
that's a game changer.
Oh man, huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
You can't be as risky as you was before and take these risks.
Well, I still took the risk.
Well, yeah,
I still took the risk.
I'm right there with you.
But I understand.
You're gonna hear about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can take that risk, but you're gonna hear about it.
Yes, sir. and so, you know, just I'm gonna say growing through, not going through, growing through.
That's
that
a
process.
tweetable moment, as Oprah would say.
Yeah. It's been difficult and disappointing.
Right.
Because you're like, okay, yo, this clock is not stopping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, the clock you don't even have to change the battery in this thing called life. It's constantly going.
Yeah.
You know, 32, 35, 37, you know. And so because of the mental picture that I had for my life at 18 years old and where I wanted to be. Didn't know how I was going to get there,
right?
But where I wanted to be,
right?
I don't see nothing that looked like that, you know. And so, you know, we keep grinding, you keep grinding, you keep grinding, and failed business ventures, you know, financial challenges, relationship challenges, parenting challenges, life challenges. It becomes very easy to pack those goals and dreams up that we had for ourselves as teenagers, as young adults, as little kids, tuck them off in a closet somewhere and say, I guess it wasn't meant to be. Yeah.
Now, so then what stopped you from doing that? What in your mind was like, you know what? No, I can't.
I'm gonna tell you, man. So I just turned 40 last week, and it's interesting how I'm having these epiphany type situations around my birthday.
Right.
A few days after my 39th birthday last year. Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna answer your question, but to kind of bring the full picture.
Right.
So going into 2017, I was done with voice acting, entertainment.
I remember seeing that on Facebook. Yeah,
done. I retired. You know.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
Well, the reason why is because of the frustration.
Okay.
That comes along with hearing no after no after no, rejection, perceived rejection after perceived rejection, doors simply not budging at all to open for you. And my heart I felt like my heart couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I made a decision to do something late 2016 that I've never done before in my life.
Okay.
And that is, I made the decision to stop pursuing after passion.
Right.
And I began pursuing after profit.
Okay. See, that's a huge one that I talk about a lot. How'd that work out for you? How'd that go?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So
that worked out really well, huh?
Yeah, real well. Man, my family and I were almost homeless, bro. Chasing after something that is vain.
Right.
You see what I mean? And see, as a man, I told myself the thing that we oftentimes tell ourselves as men, which is, I'm doing this for my family.
Yep.
Yeah, baby, I know I'm going from sun up to sundown. But I'm doing it for the family.
Right.
You see what I mean? And one day my wife asked me, what good would it have been to go out there and do all of this and you don't have a family?
Right. Something about like gaining the world and losing your soul? Something like that?
Something like that. You know, and for a moment it was difficult to register that. It's like, you know, this is that entrepreneurial life.
Right.
You know, the lies that we tell ourselves, right? So I'm done with it. You know, I'm and at this time I'm not working a job. I'm doing this business full time, which is a commission-based business. Right? And just so many different things that went into that as well. But to speed along the story to get to the question that you asked, August of 2017, having a conversation with my mom, she came out to the house, spent some time with us or whatever. And, you know, my wife shared with her, you know, hey, look, you know, I'm getting ready to leave your son. So
you might want to
have a conversation with him.
Right.
And my mom, I love my mom, man. Baby, you know I don't get in your business.
Yeah.
You know I love it. But you're effing up.
Nice.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And she ain't dropped the F-bomb. But you know, but she brought it to me straight and real, man. And one of the things that she said, you know, you out here, you know, doing this particular business, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. God showed me what you're supposed to be doing when you was a little kid. And I told you back then.
So you had the heads up.
Had the heads up. But I'm gonna tell you what she said. I'm gonna tell you my response. You're supposed to be like Steve Harvey. God had already showed it to me. You're gonna be on this and you're gonna be on that platform, and it's gonna be a sea of people. It's just people everywhere whose life you're gonna impact.
Right.
Now, mind you, she's talking about something that I myself have seen.
Right.
that I myself one time believed that when I unpack my toolbox, I have all of the tools to build that life that she's talking about.
Yep.
But the heartache and the disappointment that comes along with that life, I decided I didn't want it anymore. So I said, Ma, I'm done with that. No, I decide my destiny. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
This business that I'm doing now, this is what it is. And this is what it's gonna be. Period.
Right.
All right, baby. All right. All right, baby. You know, I just had to tell you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
she
so
hit you with one of those.
Yeah.
I had to tell you.
I had to tell you, baby. I had to tell you.
Woo, you got one of those.
So, and all the while, you know, there's this tension between my wife and I, but you know, we're doing our best to hold it together for our kids' sake. A couple of days after my 39th birthday, about 2:30 in the morning, I'm awakened out of my sleep.
Okay.
And I hear this voice, same voice that I heard that told me when I was about to commit suicide, Octavius, you can either take your life or dedicate your life pursuing what you're passionate about. Same voice. Octavius, now you can continue down this road and the consequences are gonna keep compounding for both you and your family because you're going against the flow.
Yeah, flow's important.
Or you can simply yield to the flow and watch that you will get to the place that you've always sought to get to.
And just because that FedEx truck was driving by, say that one more time, or you could what?
Or
because that's what he was on.
You can yield to the flow and get to the place that you've always believed you were meant to go.
There you go.
So I'm laying in bed, man, because my wife then tried hammering this in my head for a year and a half. Mama tried saying this to me a few months earlier. But now when the universe halts everything and gets you up out of that good sleep and says, hey, we need to have a conversation.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
At 2:30 in the morning.
You know, and so I laid there, man, and I said, you know what? I yield. I yield. I love my family. I love my family. But I do not want to harm or hurt my family. I yield. So, and my wife and I, we did that business together. We decided to leave that business December 2017. December 2017 was done with the business. So we're going to January, and I'm like, what I was gonna do now? You know? And my wife and I had a conversation. She said, Octavius, the thing that frustrates me the most about you is you're the most brilliant man I have ever met. But you give the best parts of yourself away to other people, other companies and businesses to build what it is that they have. And you give that to them, for them, and you're always left with nothing. If you would simply take just 6 months to channel that brilliance towards yourself, where could you be? Where could you go? What could materialize from that? So I was like, you know what? My wife, she right about a whole lot of stuff. I trust her. I'm gonna take her advice. And I didn't know exactly what that was gonna look like, man. She had been telling me for the longest that she believed that motivational speaking was the route I should go down. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, there's a certain perception that I've had of motivational speakers.
Gotcha.
You know, I was like, okay. So I work for a charter school, and I did a spoken word piece at our Black History program in 2017. So when the program was over, one of the PE coaches said, Mr. Davis, I don't know why you here. You should be a motivational speaker. But my wife been telling me the same thing.
He's coming all over the place.
Coming from all over the place. So I decided, okay, let me give this motivational speaker thing a go. Now, when I unpack my toolbox, something that's there, I'm an exhorter. I'm a motivator by nature. I've always loved to encourage and inspire people to become the best version of themselves. So that's naturally in me. But to brand myself as I'm the motivational, you know, that just, you know, it's kind of cornball to me, you know. So I began the process early 2018 of, let me research these motivational speakers, see what's going on. And I remember telling my wife, I said, I don't like what I'm seeing out here because,
right.
you know.
You started unpacking that, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, because, you know, for me, you know, I'm like, okay, I just want to inspire people.
Right.
You know? But, you know, when I come across this motivational speaker on social media or that on social media, you know, they're asking for an email address, and then I'm being directed to this page and directed to that page.
Yep. And then they're going to tell you the 3 tips, and it's going to be free. And then next thing you know, you only got 2. You got to sign in here, log in here, do this.
And I told her, man, I remember, I said, I don't like that. I said, there's something about that to me that, I don't like it.
Seem right.
It don't seem right. I don't like it. And she said, well, rather than taking that approach, she said, there may be something to it.
Right.
If each of the ones you've come across, they're all doing that, there may be a reason to it.
Right.
You might want to find out why before you dismiss it.
Right, right.
All right, can't hurt.
Yeah.
So the more that I looked into it, I'm like, yo, I need to be doing that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, because there's a method to it, and I now understand what that method is. So, in a nutshell, if as a motivational speaker or as a person who has a brand, you know as well as I, you can build a Taj Mahal. Right? But that does not mean people are going to show up. Right?
Yep.
But
you gotta catch their attention.
If you learn how to package your message and put it in a place where people are coming and going constantly.
Yep.
Internet, social media, right? And you craft that message to where those people who the message resonates with, they're going to be drawn to what it is that you have to say.
Right.
Well, the other aspect of that equation is, you can love talking to people, but love don't pay no bills.
Exactly.
And so I've now discovered and have been teaching myself the business side of why they do what they do, and it makes full sense to me now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so what brought me to that place of realizing, okay, well, I need to get back to pursuing after this is, having mama, my wife, the universe, a jackass, some everything else. But I was a jackass. But
a little bit everybody.
Say, hey, yo, what are you doing?
Right.
And when I made the decision to go with the flow, man, I found different opportunities coming my way.
Oh yeah.
That for me were indicators. Before we came to start recording, we came across a young lady. She said, I see you all over my TV, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people recognize me as being the face for the McGowan Medical Center commercials.
Yeah.
But I've been the voice for McGowan Medical Center radio commercials for the past 3 years.
Gotcha.
Right? But in the past, I'd never been comfortable being on camera.
Right.
People have said, "Oh man, you got a face for TV." I'm like, "No, I'm more like a face for radio." you know what I mean? Yeah. Because of insecurities that I've had about my teeth.
Right.
Growing up, they used to call me "go ahead, forehead." you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just all these
that
different
stuff gets in you. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets in us, and then we begin projecting it.
Right.
And one of the things, Chauncey, that I have learned about life, typically the area that we have the greatest insecurities is the area that we're supposed to be operating in some shape, form, or fashion.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so here it is, doing these television commercials now, and which I'm grateful for. And here's the other part, I'm good at it.
Right. There you are. I've seen a couple of them. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you are.
But see, I never realized that. I would MC different events, right?
Yeah.
And one in particular event that comes to mind, me and my good friend Wanda P. This was back in 2013. There was this big event that came to Jacksonville, and I know the executive producer of the show, known him for years. He said, "Hey, well, I'd love to have you and Wanda co-host this event for me." All right, outstanding. Well, it was a competition. You had artists from all throughout the state of Florida competing in this competition.
Okay.
Well, we had cue cards.
Right.
that were on index cards, right? Yeah. Which was the bio for each of these artists. I had a bunch, she had a bunch, and she and I went back and forth in between announcing those particular artists. Well, I've always had the ability to scan a cue card and memorize it verbatim.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
And so Wanda, she and I, we've been working together for so long. She's like, all right, now Doogie Howser, don't nobody care, but like literally verbatim.
Yeah.
And so once I've memorized my card. I'm interacting with the crowd. I'm looking in the camera, doing all these different things, announcing the next act that's coming up. I didn't realize that as being a skill.
Right.
You know? And so fast forwarding to the McGowan commercials, I memorized the script. We did 4 commercials in that one day. I memorized all 4 commercials on my way to the site.
Wow, yeah.
You know, and so Antonio Gaston, who is the marketing genius for McGowan Medical Centers, he's like, man, we rented this warehouse for all this time. We don't even, we ain't never wrapped up this quick, you know. But again, going back to those areas where we're insecure, if I listen to my teeth, and I know that may sound kind of odd.
I got you.
But if I listen to the voice of my teeth, I'm like, oh no, man, you don't want to use me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have given them a reason because I would have been too embarrassed to say, well, look at these, you know, this is, you don't want this. But I've yet to see any reviews on social media or have anybody come up to me like, oh, they used you, but your teeth jacked up.
No. Yeah.
You know, and what's interesting, man, you know, I'm gonna call him the god of Hollywood, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, his teeth are indented exactly like mine.
Really? Never noticed.
Exactly.
I've never noticed it.
Why? Because his gift, his skill, what he brings to the camera and to the audience, nobody paying no attention to his teeth. And at this stage in life, because of a car accident that he was in, I think in 2005 or 2006, one of his hands, he's completely paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
Has no motion of his hand.
That's why he wears the...
Yes.
Yeah.
But he still go out there and he working, 80 years old or something like that. Morgan getting them checks.
Yeah, he is.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, he is.
So
still doing movies.
Still doing movies, still doing voiceovers. I did a voiceover for a client last week, and the description was, we want a Morgan Freeman style read. All right, well, y'all gonna have Morgan do an Octavius Davis read?
Right.
You know, but that's the impact.
Right. Exactly.
You know, of yielding to the flow of where we're supposed to go. And you know, and there's a number of things that I'm working on now, and I don't know where it's all gonna lead. I know what I see. Yep. But where I am now and where I see, those things are as close as the East is from the West.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? So how is that gap gonna be bridged? I'm not focused on that. I just have to continue yielding and continue doing the work.
Right. Because sometimes, you know what I've noticed, man, is that sometimes what'll happen is you'll have this vision of what you think is supposed to happen or what have you, but that vision is really, it's kind of like the Matrix. Since we talk about movies.
I love the Matrix.
But, you know, it's kind of like, you know, how the Oracle told him something. Yeah. You're not the one, just for him to get to that path of actually being the one. I think a lot of times we'll have that vision, and it'll be put there for whatever higher power anybody, whatever believes in, but it'll be put there in order for us to get to a certain spot that might not even be what we're looking at, but it's like to go down that other road to where we're really supposed to be at. So I think, so I had, you know, kind of, you know, piggyback on what you're saying, I had to like get rid of all expectations or whatever. I just know this is what I'm supposed to be doing now, and let's just keep moving, keep pushing, and let's just keep going. But the one thing I want to, you know, to add on to what you're saying now, and I think we talked about it before we started rolling, but now, have you noticed that when you're walking your purpose and everything, that, like you said, just things just start opening up, that you're just like, but it's like seamless, whereas before you would have had to beat, but now it's just like, it's just popping open for you?
Yes, but it's not happening in the way that I would have expected for it to happen.